It is an absolute joy to fly VFR in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. That is my #1 biggest takeaway that I have gotten so far from this sim, is what a pleasure it has been to fly VFR. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Welcome back at Spur. We're back in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And the last video got quite a few reactions, more than what I ever thought I would. And for that, I am very appreciative and grateful. Thank you everyone for liking and subscribing and all that stuff, and the comments. And I did get a few comments from viewers that were like, hey, we've been wanting to see some stuff around DFW, around the Metroplex. We haven't seen anything. So I thought, what better thing to do than to do a sightseeing trip? So that is what we are going to do on this this flight. I may break it up into 2 videos. We may do Fort Worth in this one and Dallas in the next. It's just too much stuff to see. But anyway, we're going to be taking off from Meacham. I've already set it as my departure, and let's get going. All right, we are loaded in. We are at Meacham Field, which is just north of downtown Fort Worth, if you are familiar with that area. So you can see we're sitting here on runway 16, and we'll go ahead and see about taking off. We are in the Cessna 172. I picked this plane because one, it's a high wing. You'll be able to see stuff, you know, the landmarks and stuff like that down below. And it's just it's a good little airplane to just go up and putt around in. So we do have a wind out of the west, I think. Ooh, I don't know what that was. That was really weird. That was like a huge bump, but let's get up in the air before I go on about this anymore here. All right, here we are, we're lifting off. Alright, positive climb. We didn't use takeoff flaps, they weren't needed. So let's see, field elevation was I think 700. So we'll climb up to about 1700, 2000, something like that, before we start taking a look at everything here. You know, I've had so much fun flying VFR in this game, and I'm telling you, from someone that's played a lot of flight simulators. Now, you know, here's a disclaimer. I haven't played one since Microsoft 2004. Last time I flew in a sim was probably 04, 05, something like that. So I haven't played Flight Simulator X. I haven't played Prepar 3D. I haven't played X-Plane. I can't compare to those. I can only compare to what I know, but flying VFR in this sim is so incredibly easy. The amount of landmarks and just I mean, it blows me away. It literally blows me away. You can't even imagine. And you'll see as we go along, you'll see a lot of these landmarks, things of that nature. So here we are. We got downtown Fort Worth in the distance. And that is where we are going to start off. Okay, there we go. We should be good to go. This plane does have an autopilot, but that's one of the quirky things to me in the sim right now. Like, you put on altitude hold, and you know, you should be able to do some turns with altitude hold on. I mean, nothing crazy, but it wants to porpoise really bad. So I don't know if that's like something that they need to fix or adjust or what, but you know, we'll just hand fly it. It's really easy plane to hand fly. We do have live traffic going. This is live weather. It's an absolute beautiful day to be flying. So anyway, I am from Fort Worth. I was born there many years ago. I haven't lived in Fort Worth.
Alpha, you are leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Okay. Haven't lived in Fort Worth in over...
Tower Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Alpha frequency change.
In over 30 years. So it has been a long time. Now I have been there, but I'm not a resident of Fort Worth of DFW. I don't know that much about it, but I do know enough to recognize a lot of the landmarks. And one of the cool, I mean, you guys probably recognize a lot of these buildings down here, but I can't see them right now. I know they're down there. We'll get them when we see back around. But some of the buildings that I like noticed right off the bat flying around DFW was, or Fort Worth, was the Tandy Towers. And another one, look at there, the Texas and Pacific Depot down there. I mean, just plain as day. They got the Mixmaster. They've got I-30, you know, traffic on I-30. I mean, that is insane. They even got a train down there. You can see the rail cars sitting there. And you can even see, if you're a rail fan or know anything about that, Tower 55 tucked right down there in the middle of the Mixmaster, between the rail junctions there with the BNSF and the UP. So those are the kind of details that just literally blew me away. Like, I couldn't believe that. They've literally got trains down there. So what they, what they did is using satellite data, you can tell like the bridges have been extruded from the ground. So they're not like 3D assets, you can see it. But it's not that big of a deal to me, I mean, really, the overall look is just so breathtaking. And the crazy thing about it is, this is out of the box. This is stock. This is what you get with the game. This isn't add-on scenery or... I mean, look right up here off the nose there. There's the Ralston Purina plan. That was the first place, that was the first job my dad had when they moved to Dallas-Fort Worth back in the early 70s. I mean, they've got that landmark. Right off the nose, you can see it now, Peach Yard for the Union Pacific. That's a huge landmark. I mean, these are all, if you're a little familiar with the area, these are all very identifiable features, I mean, if you look in there, the Tandy Towers are absolutely there. I know I saw them. I don't think we're at a good angle to see them right now, but those are really recognizable to me as a kid, were the Tandy Towers. And they are down there. I don't think, there they are. Yeah, see, okay, there you go. There's the two, the spars over them there, or the port. The two twin Tandy Towers, I mean, just plain as day. Now, the skyline in Fort Worth has changed immensely since I lived there. I've been there a few times since, but, I'm sure some of you guys could absolutely recognize a lot of those buildings. So let's carry on here. We're going to head out on a course about 270, and we're going to head for Fort Worth Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base, Fort Worth, better known as Carswell. It was Carswell Air Force Base back in the day, and it was a huge SAC bomber base for many years. B-52s were there throughout the 70s and 80s, I think they left in the early 90s. They had B-36s there, B-47s. This was a really big SAC air base back in the day. You see Lake Worth just off the nose there, and we'll get up here and we'll take a little closer look. Alright, so here we are. We are coming up on Carswell. Carswell is a place, I just requested flight following, so we should have that.
Cessna Golf Sierra Alpha.
Carswell is a place I am very familiar with. I went to air shows here as a kid back in the early 80s. Saw the Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds here. Place I've known of for a long, long time. Kind of a fixture of Fort Worth. There, you look down, you can see the old parking pads for the B-52s when they had them. They parked right there in the middle of the airfield, just there by the tower. So that's really super cool. I mean, that kind of detail just blows me away. It is not just the ground textures. I mean, this is absolutely, perfect satellite ground imagery. We keep going over Carswell here. We've got General Dynamics. This is where they built F-16s. I don't know if they still build them now there, but that's General Dynamics on the other side of the field here. I mean, this kind of detail is just, especially for being out of the box. Like, you would expect this kind of detail to be maybe from an add-on scenery or something like that. But, I mean, what they have done this go-around just really impresses the hell out of me. There's no question Microsoft has mastered flight simulation. I think taking an airplane, making a model of an airplane, doing the flight dynamics, doing the control, setting up the cockpit and all that, and getting it in a working game, that's child's play to them. I think really where they have put the technology and just kind of blown it out of the water is using satellite imagery and data. And I'm talking like land use maps, of course the texture maps, that's the basic satellite texture imagery, but land use, 3D topography. I mean, it's literally breathtaking how they have incorporated all this information and made this game. I think, that's the nuts and bolts of it, is the ground. And I have never flown VFR like this in a sim in my life. I've flown more VFR in this sim than I ever have in any other sim. Because usually it's the same repeating textures, it's the same old thing. Look at there, I-30, just plain as day. Look, you see, they got the traffic and everything. I mean, that literally just looks photorealistic to me. I mean, you just can't get any better than that. And so, I think in previous sims, if you wanted that kind of level of detail, you had to buy add-on scenery, but it was never on this scale. Like it is, look at all the overpasses down there. I mean, that's amazing. Sure, they're extruded out of the ground. They're not separate 3D assets, but when you're looking at them from this altitude, they look absolutely outstanding. It really just boggles my mind what they have done, I mean, look at that. Look at the residential area down there, all the buildings. Now, I don't know if every building, I assume it's not building for building. Those are probably some kind of like generic houses or generic structures or something, kind of like the autogen that they had before or over the years. I know in the town that I live in, it's not building for sure. I don't think it is here except for like the major identifiable things. But here's another I thought was a super cool landmark. Look at there, UP Centennial Yard, right there, plain as day. It's got the locomotive shops at the other end of it there, receiving, forwarding yard, the hump yard. It's got, I mean, that's it. That is absolutely it. And what an awesome landmark that is for VFR pilots. Like I said, I know of DFW. I mean, I'm not completely foreign to it. And so I know enough to know exactly where I'm at. Okay, we got traffic, 12 o'clock. Envoy. It blows my mind to be able to, for it to be this easy to fly VFR in a simulator. I mean, it really just is. I mean, look at that over there. Look at all the bridges and stuff. It literally blows my mind. I can't say that enough. Now, you guys that are, if you're from Fort Worth or the Metroplex, you may be able to point out things, inconsistencies better than I can, but I mean, it looks extremely, extremely close to what I've seen and what I remember. I was looking for another landmark. I think it's on the wrong side now. Yes, the grain elevators, just south of downtown Fort Worth. And UP Yard, right there, plain as day. The grain elevator is a huge landmark for VFR flying, and no problem identifying them whatsoever. Get back on altitude here at least a little bit. All right, straight ahead is going to be the, I guess it's like a gas power plant or something, a gas generating station or something on Lake Arlington. Another big landmark. Way out in the distance there, about 11:30 or so, is Texas Stadium, AT&T Stadium. Great landmarks. I mean, and we'll look closer at that in a minute. The land use in this game just really blows me away, and like what I mean is like you've got the trees, the deciduous area, and then just like in real life, when you start heading out more towards West Texas, west of Fort Worth and into the Panhandle, it turns into grassland and open areas, and you can see that in the land use in the sim. So I hopped in this morning. It was like a little before 8, maybe, give or take, and it was a beautiful, gorgeous morning here. I mean, just outstanding. Now, some wonkiness in the sim. For whatever reason, when you get up close to the power generating station, it turns into trees. I don't know what that's about. At least 2 of them do. They turn into 2 ginormous trees. You can see the one station down there. No problem, but the other 2 turned into trees. I don't know what that is about. But just some kind of little flaw, I guess. Not a big deal in the scheme of things. I mean, considering what they've done, you know, I'm very much okay with that. So here we are going over Lake Arlington, the dam. And there you go. You can see it. I mean, that's it. You know, I got some kind of track down there, like a school or a high school field or something like that. Just there you go. All the variation in the grass, like dirt areas and grass areas and areas that have been mowed and areas that haven't been mowed. I mean, it's really just breathtaking. I guess that's the only thing I could possibly say. So all right, let's keep heading. Damn, we keep getting lower and lower. I'm too busy talking and not watching. You can see off the nose here, we've got another set of railroad tracks going off to the east and then going off to the northeast. I think that's the UP line. Just an absolute awesome landmark, you know? I mean, roads and railroad tracks are like the absolute best landmarks you can use. VFR flying. Looks like a bunch of apartments down there, maybe. A mobile home park, too. A little bit bumpy now. I can definitely tell a change since I flew this morning. It was smooth as glass, and now it's got a few bumps to it there. All right, off to the about 2 o'clock. There is Arlington Municipal, a little small private airstrip for private aircraft. Then we have Grand Prairie straight ahead at 12. And what else we got out here? You can see we're getting into more of a commercial area. Now, it does look like some of the buildings down there kind of repeat a little bit, maybe. But it's so diverse. There's so much stuff to look at. It's really hard to pick out anything repeating between the unique ground textures and, you know, all the landmarks and things of that nature. It's you know, if there is anything repeating down there, it is hidden very well. They have it really disguised well. You can't tell whatsoever. So we're going to go around AT&T Stadium here. New Texas Stadium. Look at there, really nice. That you can tell they put a little bit more into that. Like that's an actual asset. Maybe it's actually marked as a landmark. If I hit S, it'll take me and actually make my view look at it. So that's a really neat feature. But I mean, look at it. It's dead on. You know, I mean, an awesome landmark to have. Flying VFR. And the baseball field is over here too. Let's see if I can find it. I may be going directly over it actually. I don't see it. I saw it earlier. I don't see it now. I think we're going over it maybe. But these land features are so good and accurate. I've actually been able to use, I went to the FAA website and pulled up the helicopter terminal chart. And the helicopter chart has, it's more landmark oriented. So it has a lot of these landmarks, you know, listed on it. And you can fly by it, no problem whatsoever. Like everything about it, it is all there. Alright, so we are going to head north towards the loop off that way. You see there's Fort Worth in the distance, and All right, let's take his hand off. Can't quite make out Dallas on the other direction there. I think it's a little too far away. I think this is actually the 820 loop going north here, and it will connect into another freeway up here, 183 or something like that. You'll have to forgive me on that. I don't know the roads that great around here, just I-20, I-30, you know, some of the basic stuff, but I mean, look at the diversity in the terrain. That big, you know, scraped area, like they're either building something there or doing a lot of construction out this way. All right, we got Dallas Fort Worth International, KDFW, right over there at 1 o'clock. Quite a few aircraft around too. You see them on the map there. We won't get too close to that because the ATC is really wonky if you got live traffic. You know, last night I did get some traffic call outs. I said before that I hadn't, but I did get traffic call outs last night, which was different for me. So I get them sometimes and other times I don't. I don't know why. We'll go ahead and request Class B, even though we're going to be kind of going out of it. But... Okay, no, that wasn't 820 back there. This is 820 Junction coming up ahead. You see the bridges. Now, on the VFR helicopter chart, there's supposed to be a couple of malls up here. About 11:30 maybe, just to the east of that bridge off in the distance. It would be interesting to see if they're actually there or not. Let me tab out and look and see what they are. All right, Northeast Mall should be right at the junction with 820 up ahead. If you look off the corner of the console, the bridge there would be the junction, and I think that is Northeast Mall right where I'm touching it with the console right now. I think that's Northeast Mall. Not 100% sure on that. You people that are familiar with it could probably tell. Also, we have a weather system to the west. You can see the clouds in the distance. That's over towards Brownwood and Wichita Falls. I think it goes from Wichita Falls south through Brownwood. All right, I assume that's Northeast Mall right there at the 11 o'clock position, 10, 11 o'clock. I mean, check that out. I just can't say enough how much it blows my mind. You know, I mean, like I said, if you're from the area and you know everything detail for detail, you may be able to say, oh no, that's not the way it is or whatever. But you know, it's perfect for me if you have kind of a general knowledge of the area. It looks spot on to me. If it's off, I couldn't tell you. You know, I mean, it really just. Now, another landmark. This is on the helicopter terminal chart. That right off the nose there, just about 12 o'clock pretty much, is a water tower. That's on the helicopter chart, and there it is. Now, once again, that is another thing that's actually extruded up out of the ground, so it's not like a separate detailed asset, but you see it. I mean, there it is, you know? All right, so we're flying down 820, the north side of 820 on the north side of Fort Worth. Let's see, downtown's hidden by the windshield post there. It would be just on the other side of that. It's crazy. The cars down there. It looks so realistic. Like there's actually life down there. There's people going on about their business. You know, it really just kind of takes it to a whole new level. Being able to see that. It's mind-boggling. It really is. It's the coolest thing. All right, and another big landmark, and this was one that I checked out pretty quick because it's one I most definitely remember from my childhood in Fort Worth, and that is Saginaw. If you are familiar with Saginaw, you know what I'm talking about, and you see it. At least I think you will now. You'll see what I'm talking about at Saginaw. Saginaw, if you're not familiar with the area, has some huge grain elevators out there, and you can see 1, 2, and a third one. You know, if you got in the area, you saw them from miles and miles away, and there they are. And I'm sure they were huge landmarks for pilots, you know, and there they are. We'll see them better when we get up closer. You can see a little better there how the bridges are like extruded out of the ground. You get a better idea. So up close, they kind of tell on themselves a little bit, but it's not, you know, it's not game breaking for me by any means whatsoever. I think, like I said, to have this kind of detail on the scale that we do is just, it's amazing. All right, I got 2 traffic and they're coming into Meacham, so we better, oh yeah, he's real close. See, we got no traffic call out for that whatsoever. And we're in flight following, and he is like right there at us. Here he goes. November 260 Hotel. And we're at 1,700 feet. Yeah, plain as day. You know, we got no call outs for that, which that's kind of disappointing, but you know, all right, that grain elevator there has a big tree on it too for some reason. These are okay. I mean, look at them, they're huge. They're very major landmarks. And there's another guy coming in right behind the first one. I can tell you right now, he's going to be doing a go around. So yeah, there's Saginaw. There's all the different rail lines. The one going off to Amarillo and the one going towards Oklahoma, I guess it would be, towards Oklahoma City. All right, now we're going to turn back kind of to the northeast a little bit here. And this will probably be where I end this video up. I think this is a pretty good, just gives you a good idea of everything that you can see out here. And you see, you know, the land use changes up. There's not as many trees out here. It's more open. It's a little more.
Sierra Alpha contact regional approach on 118.1.
Dude, I don't know why you had me contacting all these different controllers, because y'all aren't doing anything to like help us out.
Sierra Alpha 24.
All right, there we go. Fort Worth Alliance. Kind of a newer airfield that was built, well, I guess it's not that new now, but big cargo. I think it's does a lot of cargo operations and stuff like that for FedEx and different companies. So we'll fly around Alliance and we'll probably call it right there. Let's see what the traffic, with the big picture of traffic. Yeah, you see we got a good bit of traffic out there. Okay, I just took a peek. That's actually 35 West. So, all right, you can see where like the satellite imagery changes up a little bit right there. There's a little border. And I was talking earlier about how the weather's changed, how the my flight's differed from this morning where it was smooth as glass, and now it's a little bumpy, a little choppy here and there, you know. It's a really cool aspect of it, especially when I flew over the Rockies in a Telluride the other day. There was a very noticeable difference going over the Rockies. It was really rough and bumpy. It was like night and day coming off the plains and going into the Rockies. I mean, just really, really cool feature to have. And you can see there's the Texas Motor Speedway off the nose there, about 10 o'clock. You know, you see it plain as day. There it is, you know. And like I said, this is stock. This is straight out of the box, straight off the download. This isn't add-on scenery or we will cancel our flight following. and contact the nearest
Regional
airport,
approach
which will be
Cessna Golf
Alliance. We
Sierra
will land
Alpha,
at
cancel
Alliance
flight
here.
following.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that.
Regional
Dang it.
approach Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra
well,
Alpha
alright.
is type Cessna Skyhawk.
We call
3
it
miles
again, but that's
southwest of
okay.
52
There you go,
Foxtrot.
Texas Motor Speedway.
Request flight following.
Really nice view of it there.
Cessna Alpha Sierra.
There you go.
Squawk
You know, I mean,
7057
it
Cessna
just
Golf Sierra Alpha.
beautiful landmark for pilots.
Cessna Golf Sierra Alpha.
And then we get north of the Speedway here, and you get out into the country. Like there's not much of anything out this way. Okay, we're good with that. We'll go to tower now, and we'll request full stop landing.
Alliance Tower Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra Alpha is 6 miles northeast with Oscar to land. Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra Alpha Alliance Tower. Make straight in runway 16 left. Altimeter 29.85 wind 090 at 8. Make straight in runway 16 left Cessna Golf Sierra Alpha.
All right, here we go, straight in, 16 left.
Sierra Alpha cleared to land runway 16 left. Wind 090 at 8.
All right, I cannot pick out the field. I think that's it right there. So what we'll do is we'll do more of a base, and then we'll turn on final. I think that's it, just ahead of my windshield post.
Cessna Golf Sierra Alpha, please acknowledge.
Yes, okay. That's the only thing that's kind of annoying is...
Cleared to land runway 16 left Cessna Golf Sierra Alpha.
forgetting to interact with these guys. Let's pull back the power and slow down. And as always, I'm not a real life pilot. This is just all knowledge and experience that I've picked up on my own over the years. So I don't know the approach speeds or anything for this plane. So, you know, that's stuff I need to research and figure out later on. Ooh, too much power. I need to, I got a throttle on my joystick. I need to keybind that thing. I think that was probably one of the more aggravating things about this, was like having just having to set the joystick up. Like, it is not plug and play at all. All right, there we go, Alliance. I see 16 left. We're good to go. There's some kind of really cool little football field and track down there below us. Another really great landmark, you know. I flew over the little town that I live in, and I saw our high school football field, and it had the painted end zones, like photorealistic. It was exactly the way it was. And you know, the cool thing is, like, our end zone hasn't been like that terribly long, only within a year or so. So like, they must have gotten that information fairly recently and put that in. It's just really amazing. All right, this runway always kind of throws me off a little bit because it has the displaced threshold is so far, like it's nowhere near the end of the runway. Let's look up a little bit here. You can change your view by doing the up arrow. You can look up, and we'll go full flaps. So you see, it's like way on down here past this this taxiway, whatever it is. Here's the marker. All right, we aim for the numbers. Got the power. And there we go. We're down. Just like that. Beautiful, fun little flight. If you don't have this simulator and you are thinking about try it out, I would definitely say go for it.
Alpha exit runway when able.
Okay. Let's get off the runway here. I would suggest it. You know, I've seen quirks, but I don't have any major issues. I've got good performance. I'm running a Ryzen 3700 with a 2070 Super. And it does just fine. I mean, I haven't seen anything that's really caused any major issues. And I'm gonna show you something really cool.
132.65 Cessna Golf Sierra Alpha.
We get up here. We'll park for a second and we'll jump back in. And we'll get our hide the yoke. Get our landing lights off, nav lights, strobes. And I think we're good with all that. Get back to the exterior. Alright, there we go. Let's get rolling. We're cleaned up, flaps are up. Our parking brake off. So. Nope. There we go. Alright. So I cut on the, they have a neat little feature in the game, or in the sim. This is absolutely a sim. I mean, some people debate that, but either way, they have a neat little feature in the sim where you can turn on taxiway ribbons, and so it will direct you where you need to go in case you don't have the charts and all that stuff. So this is a very, very helpful feature to have. I have brakes key bound to my trigger button on my joystick. Nose wheel steering is going to be 0 and enter on your numpad. Let's slow up a little bit here. Back on the throttle just a tad. Alright, we'll taxi around this way. It is neat. Like when I flew here this morning, there were more planes here than what there is now. Like there was a bunch of planes and now there are not. So that's kind of a neat little you know, piece of dynamic scenery that it changes up. It's not always the same thing. Alright, I see traffic straight out 12 o'clock. You see them over the nose there. That's neat. Yeah, there were several planes here. There were like 3 or 4 more planes when we came in. All right, come on, we got this grade here. A little bit of an uphill in the ramp here, and it's very very noticeable. Whoa, 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 whoa. Come on. Well, they didn't do it. Now, before when they had me park, they had someone marshalling me, like they were actually out here directing me, but I don't see him now. He's down there where the other airplane is at. But either way, really, really cool, the little features that they have to it. And so, let's get out, shut the engine down, in the cockpit. Beacon off, avionics, master switch is off. Okay, yes. So we're good with all that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. I'll be doing another video shortly on flying around Dallas. See, another airplane just popped up. Flying around Dallas, and we'll see what it looks like over there. Anyway, we will catch you in the air next time, guys. Peace.